Eli's face lit up my phone while he was snoring on my couch. It was after midnight. Some dumb movie on mute. Miso asleep in a loaf on the armrest. I was half asleep too. The call woke me. Eli grunted at the noise and rolled over, blanket up over his face. I picked up. He was on my screen, grainy front camera, under a ceiling light I didn't recognize. He grinned and said, "We ride at dawn, Captain." I stared at the lump on my couch. "You're here," I said. On the screen he blinked. "What?" "You're on my couch," I said. "Quiet now, like if I spoke too loud the screen would hear it. You walked over. We ate pizza. You spilled ranch. You are here." He laughed, but it sounded a half beat late. "Dude, no. I'm home. Do you want me to come by? I can bring those gummy bears you like." "I don't like gummy bears. Gummy worms." He knows that. Always teased me because the sour powder made me make a face. I watched the shape under the blanket not move. "Tell me something only we know," I said. My voice went flat. My mouth felt dry. "Ah," he said, and squinted, mocked being serious. "Okay. You stole Mr. Dorn's stapler in 6th grade. The orange one. What about it?" I didn't blink. "You kept it in your backpack," he said. "We got caught because it rattled." "There were teeth marks," I said. "From me. On the back." He missed it. He almost had it. He smiled anyway. "Yeah, teeth marks." The way he said it, it wasn't a memory. It was a guess that landed near something. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Miso sat up and made that low chirp cats make when they're not sure. The blanket lump moved. Eli's head came up slow. His hair stuck up. He squinted at me. "What?" he said. "You good?" "Who did we steal the stapler from?" I asked. He rubbed his eyes. "Mr. Dorn," he said. "It had your bite on it. My mom thought a rat did it. Gummy worms or gummy bears?" "Worms," he said. "You always pick them out of the bag and line them by color like a freak." Miso jumped down and patted over. He stopped short of Eli's sock and puffed out. Not full-on hiss. Just that stiff tail. He never does that with Eli. He sleeps on him. I sat there. I watched Eli reach one hand out to Miso. "Come here, gremlin." That's what he calls him. He does the same cluck with his tongue. Miso didn't go. He walked away, tail high, into the kitchen. Eli noticed me staring. "Dude, what?" I told him about the call. He laughed at first. Then he looked at my phone and saw the call log. FaceTime. 1 minute and 40 seconds. The time under it was weird. Like it was stamped an hour earlier. I hadn't been awake an hour earlier. "That's a bug," he said, "but softer now." He stayed until 2. He kept cracking the same dumb jokes, and I kept checking him. I asked about the scar on his right knee. I asked what I said when we lit the first cigarette behind the church at 13. He got every one. He fell asleep again. He smelled like laundry. Clean. But under it, something I couldn't place. Not bad. Just wrong for him. Sharp. Like wet pennies. At some point, I moved to the floor by the couch. I felt like if I fell asleep, he'd be different when I woke. I didn't sleep. His phone pinged around 2:30. He woke and checked it, squinting. "My mom," he said. He pulled his shoes on. He hugged me on his way out, the one-armed hug we do. His cheek brushed mine. Warm. Familiar. I wanted to be done with it. Then Miso followed him to the door and did that same stiff tail thing. After he left, it was quiet. I locked the deadbolt and the chain. I checked the hallway peephole. Empty. I sat on the floor with Miso and checked my phone. The FaceTime call was now at the top again. The timestamp had jumped to now. I closed the app. Opened it again. Now it showed a missed call from Eli at 3:30. It was not 3:30. My oven clock said 2:51. I called him. He picked up on the second ring. "Yo. Are you home?" "Yeah. Just got in." He yawned. "Say the inside joke," I said. My throat hurt when I said it. I hated what I sounded like. He paused. "We riot at dawn," he said, and put on the dramatic pirate voice we did at 14. He always did it better than me. "Okay." He waited. "You good?" "Yeah," I lied. "Night." I slept with the lights on. Miso lay on my chest and kneaded me like bread. Around 4-something, my front doorknob moved. The gentlest scrape. The knob turned, then turned again. The chain jingled. I froze under the blanket and put my hand over Miso so he wouldn't meow. I didn't breathe. The knob let go. Footsteps down the hall. Or I imagined them. I didn't get up. I couldn't. In the morning, I tried to fix it. I dropped a message in the group chat. "Okay, funny, who's pranking me with Eli's phone?" Maya replied first. "It's 8 a.m., Jay. Stop. Also, gummy worms are gross." Ken sent a meme. Eli texted right after. "LOL, what?" And then, same minute, another message from Eli popped up. "We're all on the same joke?" 2 L's. Like he typed twice with 2 hands. I took screenshots. The first message showed 8:02. The second showed 8:01. Out of order. I closed and opened and they flipped back. I called his mom. She sounded tired. "He's fine," she said. "He's here." I could hear pans. I could hear the radio in their kitchen. He shouted something in the background, his normal Saturday morning voice. Then my phone buzzed. Outside, a text from Eli said. I looked through the peephole. He was in my hall. Hoodie up. Same one he wore last night. He smiled at my door camera like he could see me through it. I didn't open it. I called his mom back. "You literally said he's there." "He was," she said. "He left just now." Her voice had that edge like I was wasting her time. He and I met at the diner on Maple around noon. I picked it because it's public. Fluorescent lights. People who know us. He slid into the booth and dropped a bag on the table. "Gummy worms," he said, and smirked at himself. He overcorrected. He watched me too close to see if I noticed. I did. We went through more tests. I asked about the night of the flood when we slept on his roof. He said it rained so hard we used plastic sleds as boats. That was real. Then he said the next day the snowplows pushed the water off the street. Snow. There was no snow. He saw my face and backtracked. Rain. I meant rain trucks. Whatever. The city trucks. At the diner, I kept getting messages from him. Texts in the group chat. selfies from his porch with his dog, a voice memo, his voice, telling a dumb story from 2017 in that lazy cadence he has when he's showboating. He was sitting across from me drinking coffee with too much sugar, and at the same time he was at home sending me things to prove he was at home. When I showed him, he furrowed his brow like his phone betrayed him. He reached across and squeezed my fingers. "Hey, you're spiraling." "I know," I said, and I laughed at myself because it sounded true. That night, I pulled up old photos. Eli in 4th grade with swimmer hair. Eli at prom with the broken bow tie. Eli on the bridge blowing smoke rings. I played old voicemails. "Jay, pick up. I'm at the bus stop. From 2 years ago. Bring a lighter. From last winter." I kept thinking I'd find a tell. A difference in teeth, in ear shape, scars. His scar above his brow from the baseball bat. The little comma behind his left ear. Every photo that should have had it. He has a chipped molar he jokes about. He runs his tongue over it when he's anxious. Both Ellis did that. The one at my table did it. The one on the phone recording a new voice memo did it too. "We riot at dawn," he said in it, and for once it came out perfect. Maya came by Monday. She sat on my floor and watched me scroll through texts. She fed miso treats. "He's messing with you because you're easy to mess with," she said. "He's always been able to get you going." "He messed up the weather," I said. It sounded stupid when I said it. She rolled her eyes. "You messed up the weather all the time. You argued with Mrs. Kellerman about if storm clouds were cumulus." "Those are puffy," I said. "That's not." She wiped her hands. "Do not drag me into a weather fight. Call him. Talk like a person. You two love each other. This is annoying." She kissed my head like an ant and left. The next week felt wrong. The wrongness wasn't big. It was just everywhere. Both of them were careful now. My tests stopped working. I'd bring up the stapler and he'd say, "teeth marks," before I got there. I'd ask, "ride or riot," and he'd grin and draw it out in the exact voice. He'd show up with worms. Never bears. Never too sweet. He anticipated the inside joke corruption and fixed it before I could call it out. I'd walk past a store window and catch two of us in the glass. Me and other me. That's what it felt like. He started using history like a blanket. He made soup when I was sick and put on the boring show he says calms my head. He texted good morning, good night. He sent me a picture of the stupid little notebook we had at 12 with our pirate codes, where we wrote rules like no telling secrets unless you're gonna die. It was 1 page, pencil rubbed to gray. We both remembered it. He sent a photo of the page with the folded corner and the smudge of grape jelly on the bottom. He knew I would remember the smudge. He also knew that we kept that notebook in a tin under his bed, and I had not shown it to anyone else. He knew it because he is Eli, except I don't think he is, or because something was reading over his shoulder. I tried a trap. I dug up our ancient code word. When we were 8, we had a dumb thing. One of us would say, "What side's the moss?" The other had to say, "North, wet side," and then flick the other's ear twice. It made no sense. It was winner of nothing. It was ours. I texted both numbers at once and said, "What side's the moss?" I didn't say it was a test. I didn't line it up. I just sent it like an idiot, at 11:14 p.m., after 3 coffees. Both read, receipts popped almost at the same second. Both replies came. North, wet side, each of them. I stared at the screen. Then both of them sent the next part, like they remembered the bit you don't write down. Flick, one wrote. The other sent a picture of his hand mid-motion near my ear, old photo at some party, and captioned it, "Flick." I stopped sleeping. Miso stopped sleeping on the couch. He'd curl up on my chest, then jolt like something tapped him and go hide under the chair. At 3 one morning, I heard the front door again. Soft scrape. Chain moving. I got up this time and went to it quiet. I put my eye to the peephole. The hall light was off. The door wasn't open, but I felt air like someone had been leaning into the gap. I said, "I can hear you." My voice came out thin. No reply. I stood there a long time. I think the worst part was the way he loved me through it. He said nice things more. He told me the story of the night my dad left, like he was reminding me that he'd been there for that. He showed up with the mixtape we made at 15 on a CDR, with boat songs written on it. He made jokes about my bad posture. He funneled me back into his orbit with care. "You're not crazy," he said, and handed me tea. Maybe I am. I decided to end it, or fix it, or something. Tuesday night I texted both and said, "Come by at 9. Both of you. No maneuvers. Come alone." "Okay," they both said. At the same time, I set 2 chairs in the hall outside my door. I cracked the door and slid the chain through so I could open it a hand width. I put Miso in his carrier by my feet. He hated that. He growled low. I wore my oldest hoodie. I wanted to feel like myself. I put a knife on the floor beside me. It wasn't for anything. It was just because I didn't know what else to do with my hands. Eli number 1 came first. Hoodie, hands in pockets. He looked tired. He always looks a little tired. "Hey," he said, and his voice sat where I thought it should. The smell that came with him made my eyes water, like stepping into a damp basement. Not bad. Wrong. Eli number 2 came 2 minutes later. Same hoodie, hood down. He had a scrape on his neck like he'd caught it on a hinge. He looked wider in the shoulders because he always forgets to keep them down. "Hey," he said. It sounded right, too. His eyes flicked to the crack in the door, to my hand. He smirked because the door chain is a joke to him. He yanked on it once when we were kids and it held. "Sit," I said. They sat. My hallway looked like a bad play with 2 versions of the same guy. "I have a thing," I said, and I put the carrier on the floor and opened it. Miso crept out, small and low, and looked at me like I was the worst. I picked him up, and he tucked his feet in. He hates being picked up. He only lets Eli. "Hi, Gremlin," Eli number 1 said, and did the cluck. "Gremlin," Eli number 2 said at the same time. I let Miso decide. I put him down in the hall. He stayed glued to the floor, then moved sideways like a crab. He sniffed the air and made that little nose twitch. He turned his head to number 1, stopped, then went straight to number 2, and did the head bump under his chin like he always does, that exact angle. He only does that with Eli because of the scar under his jaw. He rubbed his cheek on number 2's hoodie and made a happy sound. He ignored number 1, like he was furniture. I didn't think I would cry. I was crying. I unhooked the chain with shaking fingers. I opened the door wide and looked at both of them. No. 2 stood. No. 1 stood too, slower. He didn't look surprised. He just kept his hands in his pockets. No. 2 stepped through the door. He was shaking a little. He did the shoulder bump on my way past. He said, "Hey," in the way that means, "Hey, it's okay," because he's always said that to me when I get like this. No. 1 smiled at me. It was almost perfect. It only missed around the eyes. "Leave," I said. He cocked his head. "Okay," he said, like he was trying the word on his tongue. He took a step back. "See you in the morning, Captain." Too late on the rhythm. He looked past me into my apartment. His eyes stayed there for a beat too long, like he was counting things. Then he went down the hall. He didn't look back. I shut the door. I put the chain on. I leaned my head against it. Eli stood in my kitchen like he was in church. He put both hands on the counter and looked at the sink like it had an answer. Miso did circles around his legs. My chest felt like someone was sitting on it. I laughed, and it came out wet. "You okay?" he said. "No," I said. "Are you? Are you?" He didn't answer right away. He took a breath. He started to say "we" like the joke. He stopped. He looked at me and tried again. "We riot at dawn," he said, and the words came out stiff, like he had to find them, like he was reading them off a card in his head. I stepped closer. I touched the spot behind his ear where the Kamaskar lives. It was there. His jaw flexed. He looked like he was fighting sleep. He smelled like him. Peanut butter shampoo, laundry, his house, and under it, the same penny smell as the one in the hall. Fainter. Like it had soaked into him. "How long?" I asked. He blinked slow. He picked up Miso and held him against his chest. Miso kneaded at him and purred so loud his whole body buzzed. Eli smiled when he felt it. Then he said, so quiet, "He talks like me when I'm not. I hear it. Sometimes he says something, and it lands in my mouth, and it's me saying it. I don't know where the start is." He swallowed. "I tried to warn you." "When?" "When I called you from your house," he said. He looked away. "I thought if I could make you test me, you'd find me. I messed up the stapler to see if you'd notice. I didn't do it right." "You were on my couch," I said. He shook his head without shaking it, if that makes sense. Just a twitch. "I don't know where I was." I sat down on the floor. He sat too. We were at that angle again, shoulder to shoulder, not looking at each other. My heart slowed and sped at the same time. It felt like I had something alive in my throat trying to get out. "What do we do?" I said. He looked at the door. He looked at my phone on the table. It buzzed. I didn't check it. He said, "You should get rid of me." I laughed. "That's not funny." "I'm not joking," he said. He put Miso down. Miso stayed like a loaf by his hip. "Jay, I feel him when I'm quiet. It's not like a person, but it fits like one. It corrects me. It fixed the weather in my head. It fixed the stupid ride joke. It taught me how to be me. You think it can't get past your tests? It's already in them. It will be in your friends. You'll never know where I stop." I felt my stomach drop like in an elevator. "You're still you." "Right now, yeah," he said. "In a second, I don't know." My phone buzzed again. The text preview lit up. Outside, from Eli. I stood up like the floor shocked me. I grabbed for the chain even though it was already on. I wanted something in my hands. If I cut you out, they'll all think I'm cruel. He smiled, and this one hit his eyes. "You've been cruel to me," he said, which is a thing I said to him once as a joke. He shook his head. "But nobody's gonna know. That's the point. It's gonna look normal while it isn't. And I think it wants in here. I don't know why." I looked at the last person who knew me longer than anyone, and he looked back like he wanted to rest. The tenderness of it scared me more than anything. It felt like a hand on the back of my neck. I opened the door. I held it with my foot so it wouldn't swing wide. The hall was empty. The light down there hummed. The chain was still latched. I slipped the photos off my fridge and shoved them into a drawer. I unplugged my wall phone. I took my spare key from its dish and put it in my pocket. I pulled Eli in by the shoulders and hugged him too hard. He hugged me back like he always does, like he thinks he'll break me. He whispered into my ear, so quiet I felt the breath more than heard the words. North, wet side. I pushed him out gently. I shut the door. I slid the chain. I locked the deadbolt. I leaned back on it and slid down until my butt hit the floor. He knocked once. Then again. He didn't say my name. He didn't joke. He didn't bang or test me or play. He did what I asked. He left. I blocked both numbers. I left the group chat. I called his mom and said I was going to take a break from Eli. She thought I was being dramatic. She kept saying why, and I kept saying I'm not well until she said, fine. Miso slept at the door that night. Every now and then he looked up and meowed like a question. The next morning there was a postcard under my door, slid halfway in. It was from the boardwalk in town, faded. On the back was one line in our 13-year-old handwriting. Don't get soft, Hawk. The exact words. The thing he missed the first time. It wasn't stamped. No address. No name. I burned it over the sink. It smelled like old wood. I cried until I had nothing left. I haven't seen him in weeks. People ask where he is. I shrug. I tell them we had a fight. They say it'll blow over. They say I'll cave. They say we riot at dawn, like a joke, because they've heard us say it so many times it's stuck to them too. I hear the door some nights. Soft. Patient. I keep the chain on. I keep the bolt turned. I keep my voice to myself. Sometimes I pick up my phone and scroll all the way back to the first voicemail I ever saved from him. The one where he's winded and laughing and asking me to meet him under the bridge. He says my name like there's a song in it. I listen. I don't call back. I know which one was him. He's the one my cat trusted. He's the one who told me to let him go. I did. That was the last real thing I could do for him. I shut the door. I kept it shut. Mavri. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. It really helps the channel. And if you're not too scared yet, check out one of the other stories waiting for you. See you in the next one.